Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland from Terrell County, Texas. Welcome back. As always, nice to see you, sir.
Howdy, Marni. Thanks for having me. It's always good to be on your show.
So I had a Republican strategist on a short time ago and said that Trump, the fact that he stood in the way and squashed the bill to address the border, is coming back to haunt him now in this tight political race. How does he make today more than a photo op and address Democrats' immediate response to his plan for the border?
You know, Marni, look, that Senate border security bill, when it was first starting to leak out to the press about what it was going to be, and we started getting some of the details, it was nothing more than an immigration bill. Before that, the House passed H.R. 2, which was actually a border security bill. We know border security and immigration are two separate issues. What we need at our southwest border is a bill that supports border security. I'm glad to see that President Trump's going back down to the border, and it isn't a photo op. He actually cared about the border, and we know that from my time in the Border Patrol, and I think that's what we need to get back to.
But it has become a political issue, and the problem is it stands in the way of real action, and both sides are guilty of it, Sheriff. Where does it leave you and your colleagues as you are in the battle on the front lines every single day in the interim?
And you know, Marni, that's a great point. And it's been a political battle as long as I was in the Border Patrol and even before. Look, when I first started as a Border Patrol agent back in 1996 under President Clinton, he was the first to start building some of the border barrier. And that continued on to President Bush, Obama, Trump, and then it stopped with President Biden and this administration. And they've completely dismantled the accomplishments that all four of those previous administrations made. But we've got to get past the rhetoric. And unfortunately, you're right. Neither party wants to completely solve the issue. If America wanted to stop our border issue, not just to prevent those from entering illegally, but also to keep those dangerous drugs such as fentanyl out, we could. But there's not political appetite for that.
Right now, we're hearing from CBP that border crossings are actually down, the lowest since 2021. To what do you attribute that?
Yes, ma'am. So I will say that this administration finally took some action, even though it was 60 days ago, which was about 120 days before the election, 6 months before the election or so. They took action, but they're token efforts to cover up for the last 3.5 years of inaction. Look, if they would have just taken those steps when this administration first came in, or continued on with President Trump's policies, we would have been in a better situation than we are now. And Americans have suffered not just from fentanyl poisonings, but also from illegal aliens have come in and committed murder, rapes, and other crimes.
Right. I mean, we see families who end up in big and small cities on the corner looking for shelter, looking for jobs. But there are a lot of people who come across that border who are dangerous. Tell me about the encounters that you have had. And I think between now and November, it's time to get specific on your experience at the border and where you see some of the biggest holes and lapses.
Yes, ma'am. So again, 26 years in U.S. Border Patrol is what I served, and I'd still be a Border Patrol agent, but my community had a need for a sheriff, and that's why I took over. This is the community I grew up in and graduated in. But throughout my career, you know, I've been in fights, I've been in pursuits, I've been shot at. That happens daily to Border Patrol agents. Our border needs to be secured. Again, two separate issues. Border security, keeping bad people and bad things out of our country, is one issue. Migration is another issue. We can certainly bring people in lawfully and legally. This administration has not brought people in lawfully or legally. They've allowed them to come in illegally. And then they've flown some in from Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Haiti. And then they've even continued to allow people to come in that normally wouldn't have the ability to come in under migration. They're coming in illegally, but they're being covered up coming in legally. They're people that we don't need into our country.
We'll keep having this conversation between now and November. Right now, immigration, 12% of people say it is the top issue on their list when they go to vote this November. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, as always, thanks for your time.
Marni, thank you. God bless.